Hey guys, OG Albina here, bringing you guys my APA Little Cup Wi-Fi Week 4 battle against Skyhorse Tamer and his Sydney Thundurus. Very cool guy. He actually recently took over for this team in our league, which is, super awesome of him. I really do appreciate him, stepping in and helping us out. It's not the best team fundamentally, even after the drops that he made and stuff like that, or the drops that he was thinking about making. So I know he's not very comfortable with it, but from what I hear, he's a very talented player, and I'm excited to, be able to go up against him and, see what he's got and see if we can bounce back from our 2-game losing streak. We have already doubled the amount of losses that we had last season, so we definitely want to get back on the right track here. But I think we have a pretty cool team this week and a pretty nice matchup at that, so hopefully we can do well here. Quick little rundown of our rosters, just so you know the 6 that he has and could have potentially brought, and our full roster and all that stuff. We have the Volibee, Meowth, Clamperl, Sandy Gas, Machop, Cleffa, Magnemite, Roggenrola, Smoochum, and Lotad, while our opponent's team consists of the Pawniard, Trubbish, Dino, Nummel, Joltik, Tata, Weasel, Woobat, Keknia, and Mudkip. Very threatening team. Pawniard just 6-0s us at +2. Our team is very offensively oriented, so if we let that thing get any free setup and we're our potential checks to it are chipped down, then we're gonna be in for a pretty bad time here. But we have a pretty cool team this week. Just laying it out really quick. I don't have a Poke Paste on me this week. I totally forgot to do that before I started recording, and it's a little bit too late for that now. I'm kind of doing a bulk recording session, as you're gonna see in the next couple videos. I'm gonna be wearing the same shirt. We're actually wearing the Drop a Draco. There we go. Yeah, the Pokemon merch is one of my favorite hoodies. I love the design. But getting sidetracked. Our first mon right here is going to be a Focus Sash lead Smoochum once again, but this time we're Fake Out with 3 attacks. Just to punch a big hole in his team. I believe we're Dual Stabs, Fake Out, and Hidden Power fighting for that Pawniard. We are a Choice Scarf Volibee, which is phenomenal versus his team. He very much so lacks switching into this besides the Pawniard, so if you can eliminate that, Scarf Brave Bird or Scarf Knockoff in the late game is phenomenal. We have I believe we are a Weak Armor Eviolite Roggenrola right here with Stealth Rock 3 attacks, just the standard Rock Blast, Earthquake, and Explosion. We are a Recycle 3 attacks Magnemite with Volt Switch, Flash Cannon, and Hidden Power Water for the Nummel, because that was his ground type. And then we are a Bulk Up 3 attacks Eviolite Machop with, I believe, Close Combat, Knockoff, and Earthquake, I want to say. And then we are a very cool Meowth set that I hope we get to show off this week in Sub Nasty Plot, Hyper Voice, and Hidden Power fighting. If you look at his team, it covers it phenomenally. If we can get a sub up, get a Nasty Plot off, and go to town versus his team, it really does put in a lot of work. Hidden Power fighting blows away the Pawniard, and Hyper Voice +2 hits the rest of his team very hard. We're also Berry Juice, so we can sub Berry Juice shenanigans and stuff like that too. So very cool team we have this week. But yeah, with that being said, let's jump right in. I am going to lead off with my Smoochum. It pretty much claims a kill no matter what versus his team. Pretty much everything's to it KO'd, even potentially the Mudkip, depending on his spread and all that good stuff. So we can potentially pressure him with this thing pretty early on, especially if he wants to lead. Something like Keknia, which is blown away by an Ice Beam, unless he is a very bulky Eviolite set. If that's the case, he can actually live one from full, or if he's Focus Sash lead. So basically, I'm going to want to click Fake Out here. He has a Sucker Punch, I know this, but I am Focus Sash, so I'm not very scared. Fake Out's obviously going to out-prioritize. We get a crit. This doesn't really matter, but it's going to guarantee put him in range of an Ice Beam right here, as he's going to end up switching out. Probably thinking maybe we're Sash or something like that, or Colbert to live the Sucker Punch if we're willing to stay in on this thing. As he's going to go into the Pawniard, we're going to go for the Ice Beam, and we're going to get the freeze. This is the 2nd week in a row that Smoochum has gotten a freeze. This thing is, just ice cold. It's just pulling freezes out like crazy. This is going to allow us to go for a free Hidden Power fighting and knock out the Pawniard. It's very unfortunate for my opponent, because Pawniard was so good versus my team. But again, it's not too big of a deal. It just gives us more health on our Smoochum, because we obviously would have lived any hit with our Focus Sash anyways. So he's going to go out into the Nummel. This is fine. I'm going to kind of scout and see what set this is. I'm going to go for Psychic, and it's going to do 90%, showing that he is most definitely an offensive Nummel, as especially shown when he goes for a Flame Charge right here. So he is a very scary boosting set right here, with the Simple and the Flame Charge getting him up to +2. So I'm going to pull Switch out. I think my Smoochum can be very valuable later, picking up a kill versus something like Trubbish or something like that, or potentially even being sack fodder or something. So I'm going to go into my Roggenrola, pivot in on the flamethrower, as he does, you know, a good little chunk right there. And right here, I'm going to pull a switch out into my Volibee, pivoting on what I expect to be an Earth Power, which is obviously really, really nice, because I know he can never knock me out after, you know, once I'm in from full, and I get this thing in for free, which is obviously really, really good. So he's going to pull a switch out of his Numel into Trubbish, which is fine. I believe I just go for a knockoff here. It was a pretty safe, no drawback play at this point. Even if he goes into Trubbish, it does a huge chunk. It does get to hold on to its item just because of the sticky hold ability and get his berry juice back up, but we do force him into a potential recycle turn if he does actually end up having that move. So I'm going to pull switch out though, just in case he wants to go for that. I'm going to get in my rock and roll, trying to get up my rocks. I figure this is my best opportunity to do so, and it breaks any potential sashes on his team and stuff like that. So he's going to go for a gunk shot. This is completely fine. It's actually going to proc my weak armor. This is actually the first time we brought weak armor rock and roll this season, which is pretty cool. We've been sticking to sturdy juice, but weak armor is obviously a great option too. If you look at his team, we outspeed absolutely everything, and if he's not Aqua Jet Weasel, we actually get a big chunk off him whenever wants to come in. So he's going to go out into the Mudkip. I believe I just get up my rocks this turn. There was pretty no drawback. I don't think anything he could have done could have knocked me out unless he was Drain Punch. But I don't think he wants to risk his Trubbish going down, because then knockoff spam versus him in the late game just wins. So right here, I'm going to go for the Explosion. Now, I know if you're thinking, I probably shouldn't pause on the bright white screen. I clicked Explosion on a Mudkip. The reason this was a terrible play is because I completely forgot that this thing got damp. I completely forgot that damp was an ability, in all honesty. So I clicked Explosion thinking like, I did a little bit more than Rock Blast if I only got 2 hits on Rock Blast. Or even 3 hits on Rock Blast, it did more. So I figured that I can get the most damage off possible, and this thing is going to die anyway, so I might as well just click the Explosion. And I talked to him after the game. He was actually damp in his team builder, but it, you know, messed up when he was genning his team. So we are totally bailed out there by PK Hex messing up on our opponent's team. We're able to get a huge chunk up on this Mudkip. It's not going to die, but it's going to, you know, put in range of pretty much anything. It has no reliable recovery. So again, I'm not too tripping too bad here, as he's going to go for the Scald with no target there. But I'm going to be able to go out free into my Smoochum and pretty much claim a kill at this point. I know he can never go for Aqua Jet or anything priority, because Mudkip just doesn't get anything like that. Smoochum's going to throw off another Psychic, pick up another kill on the Mudkip right here, which is, again, really, really nice. That thing was pretty annoying for our team, and it makes our Volibee endgame very much more attainable, in all honesty. As he's going to go out into his Weasel, and I'm going to switch out as he actually reveals the Pursuit Weasel. This is a really, really cool tech on my opponent's farm. This is, I'm not going to lie, another kind of lapse of knowledge. I didn't even know this thing got Pursuit. I guess it knocked me out regardless, so it doesn't really matter, but I think that's a really, really cool bring on my opponent's part. I was definitely impressed when I saw that. But this does actually give me a free switch out into my Magnemite and a free Volt Switch. He can go into Numel if he wants, but I'll outspeed it, and I'll just go for a Hidden Power Water. He's going to go out into Cacnea, which is completely fine. This, again, gives me good momentum. I'll know whatever I want to go into. I'm going to go for that Volt Switch, get a big chunk off on this thing, showing he is not Berry Juice, which is great. Get to go out into my Volibee and kind of put his team in the Vortex. If he wants to save this thing, I grab momentum with U-turn. If not, I'm going to be able to knock it out, which you'll see he does end up sacking it off, which is completely fine. Down goes Cacnea. Thing wasn't too big of a threat versus my team, in all honesty. And now the only thing that's really in the way of standing with me winning is going to be that Trubbish and that Weasel. And my Magnemite can actually beat either one of those, and it obviously outspeeds the Numel. So I'm totally willing to trade my Magnemite for one of those 2 mons. I'm just going to go for a Volt Switch on this Trubbish, kind of gauging damage, trying to force him into a potential Recycle turn, something like that, see what he wants to go for. Going to go out into my Volibee, because I know I can live any one hit, and if he doesn't go for the Recycle, I can actually knock him out with a Brave Bird, and actually just pretty much win the game with Volibee at that point. But he is going to go for the Recycle and make the smart play, which is, again, completely fine. I can't really beat him now, being that he can just Recycle spam on me, so I am just going to go for a U-turn, I believe, as he actually ends up switching out into the Numel, pretty much sacking it off to me, which is fair, kind of scouting to see what I wanted to go for. But I am going to go for the U-turn, I believe, knock out the Numel. Yeah, after rocks, we're able to knock him out, despite it being a resistant hit. Down goes that. Volibee picks up another kill, which is great. This mon is a monster. I'm absolutely loving using it. This gives me another switch into my Magnemite, which can pretty much beat either one of these mons that want to come out right here. If he wants to go into the Trubbish, I can spam Flash Cannon, and if he wants to keep trying to recycle up, I'll eventually get the Spadef drop, and I'll win that 1v1, because I can also recycle with my own, and he doesn't have anything to drop my stats, most likely. As I am going to go for the Flash Cannon, do a big chunk, and you're going to see, with literally just one Spadef drop, I would have been able to beat him 1v1. One Spadef drop, I think, would have put him in range of a flash cannon right there. But he elects to just go for the drain punch, trying to get off as much damage as humanly possible, which is again completely fine. I'm going to get back up to full due to my berry juice, which is obviously really, really nice. Going to go for the flash cannon right here on this Trubbish. As you're going to see, it is going to be able to not take it out. I think we got a pretty low roll right there. I'd be very surprised if we didn't. But he's going to go for another drain punch, which again, completely fine. Not too big of a deal here. It just kind of costs a point of differential. I don't even know if that was a roll. I could just be terrible with, my head calcs and the way I saw that HP bar drop the first time. But nonetheless, this third flash cannon will do the job versus Trubbish. Magnemite picking up a nice little kill right there. And he's going to be able to go out into Buizel and pick me off and, save a point of differential, get Buizel another kill, which is definitely pretty cool that we got to see, Pursue Buizel pick up 2 kills versus us. This is, why I love the draft format and why, I think it's, honestly a lot better than standard to me just because of cool stuff like that being able to come and, surprise me like that. So Magnemite is going to go down, but I'm going to go out into Machop. I want to give Machop some love, even though it didn't really have much of a role in this game at this point. I wanted to grab it a kill just because it's not going to come to as many games as like Volibee. I probably should have gone Volibee and kind of padded stats a little bit. I think we would put it in first in the league in kills, but we're going to go into Machop nonetheless. Go for a close combat and knock out this Buizel. So GG's to my opponent. It was a very, very fun game. I know he's playing with a team he's not very comfortable with, but nonetheless, I think he had a very, very creative build and a lot of really cool text and stuff like that. And that's always, cool to see when we're playing Little Cup and stuff like that. So yeah, we are able to pick up a 3-0 win, move up to 2-2, hopefully bouncing back and going on a little bit of a win streak here, making a nice little playoff push. Again, I don't like sitting towards the bottom of the standings. I don't want to be, the 7th or the 8th seed. I want to get up there high and potentially play the 7th or the 8th seed or something like that, opposed to having to play with the 1 or the 2 seed or something like that. So yeah, hopefully we can string together some wins. We play against the Starfish, I think is his name. He's actually another replacement league as well, so we play 2 replacement coaches in a row, which is pretty cool. And then the week after that we play Panther, so we got some fun weeks ahead of us. Hopefully we can pick up some wins there, and like I said, make a little playoff push. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. If you are new, be sure to subscribe and all that good stuff. Like the video, again, subscribe so you can catch all the vids as they go up each week, this league and a bunch of others. And yeah, thank you guys again for watching. I'm gonna get out of here. Later.